Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with my November 2020 TBR and TBW video. So this is where I tell you all the books that I plan to read for the month of November and all of the, well, some at least, of the movies I plan to watch in November. And I say plan to, it's not me planning, it's the TBW game. So this is my letter and prompt game entering its third month. And frankly, it makes this one of my favorite videos that I film each month because the TBW game is just so much fun. And I frankly have no idea what's going to pop up in that game and how many movies will pop up. Last month I ended up with 9 movies, I believe it was, on my TBW, which is just ridiculous. So anyway, I don't want to waste any time. Let's keep this one as short and quick as possible. So we'll start off with the books I want to read in November, and then we'll take a look and see what the TBW game, my letter and prompt game, see what that has in store for me for November. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. Let's start with the audiobooks that I hope to finish in November. And first up, we have Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. So this one was actually on my 5-star prediction list, so I have high hopes for this one. This is, frankly, I don't really know too much about it other than we are following Ender Wiggins, who is just this genius who is essentially trying to save the world. That's all I know about it, and that's all I want to know going in. But obviously, you know what this one is about, I'm sure, because it is a sci-fi classic, a Hugo Award winner, a Nebula Award winner. This is a very infamous sci-fi book that has just gotten tons of rave reviews over the years, and people have recommended it to me multiple times. So I am finally going to I'm going to do the audiobook of this one, and I'm going to consume this one in November, and I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, it was on my 5-star predictions list, so of course the hopes or the expectations are high, but hopefully it can live up to those. So first up on the list I will be completing on audiobook is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Along with my 5-star prediction list, I also have a media to consume list for the year, and we are approaching the end of the year, so I need to wrap up all the loose ends I have on there, and one of those loose ends is The Store by Bentley Little. So Bentley Little is an author that I've known about since I started collecting books, and this was one of the very first ones I ever bought of his, because I found it at a used bookstore when I was in grad school, and have just had it ever since, and I've never read it. So last year I actually read my first Bentley Little novel. I consumed, I think it was 4 novels that were available on Hoopla. I listened to all of those on audiobook, and I enjoyed 3 out of the 4 of them quite a bit. So I really want to give this one a shot because this one is one of his more famous ones, and it just sounds really interesting. So all of his books take place in usually somewhere near Arizona, New Mexico, somewhere in the Southwest area. And so this one is no different. I think this one is in Arizona, Juniper, Arizona. Yeah, so basically it's like this giant conglomerate, so like a Walmart comes over to this town and kind of takes it over, and then weird things start happening. Again, that's all I know, and that's all I care to know. So very excited to do this one. I'm actually planning, because this one is quite a thick paperback, so I'm going to actually spend an Audible credit on this because I can't find it through Hoopla, Scribd, Overdrive, Libby, whatever. I can't find it in any of those places, so I will be spending an Audible credit on this for November. So very excited to get to this one. I've loved most of his other ones, so hopefully this will be one I enjoy as well. So second one on my list will be my second audiobook of November. This is Bentley Little's The Store. If you guys have been following my channel this year, you know that I love middle grade, and so you know there's going to be some middle grade on my list. This time I'm putting Star Wars Galaxy of Fear. This is book number 4. I don't know where it is, somewhere on the side there, down at the bottom. And this one is called The Nightmare Machine. So I just finished book number 3 in October, and I love this series. I think it is so well written. You have cameos from some of your famous Star Wars heroes and villains, and it's just a ton of fun. So book number 4, we should be following mostly Zach's point of view because it swaps back and forth. The first book was his sister, older sister, Tosh. The second book was the younger brother, Zach. And then book 3 was Tosh again. So book 4 should be mostly or mainly Zach's point of view. So very much looking forward to this one. Book number 3 was excellent, so I'm really excited to continue this series. This is such a like random series to fall into, but it's awesome. It is just right up my alley. I love Star Wars, I love Goosebumps, Animorphs, middle grade, everything like that. And so this is just like a a wonderful combination of all of those things. So I really enjoy this. So next on my list is going to be Star Wars Galaxy of Fear, book number 4, The Nightmare Machine, and these are written by John Whitman. Sticking with middle grade for a minute, I know Halloween is over, but that doesn't mean anything to us horror fanatics. So this is one that I actually picked up last month and I just didn't get around to. Another middle grade horror book. This is from the Haunted series, which I've never heard about previously and I've never read anything of. So this is called Night of the Living Dolls, written by Joel A. Sutherland. Like, that is just my thing. So I love that trope. That's one of my favorites. Living Dummies. I've just read the Night of the Living Dummy from the Goosebumps series at the end of October, just as kind of like a nostalgic way to end the Halloween season. And I want to do this one next because I'm hoping it's going to be as creepy as it looks. I know it's middle grade, but that's okay. I'm just hoping I have fun with it. So very excited to read this one. Again, I don't know too much about it, but the cover, or the title rather, is Night of the Living Dolls, so I don't need to know anything more. I'm sold. So the other middle grade book on my list for November is Night of the Living Dolls by Joel A. Sutherland, which again is part of the Haunted series. This next one I'm really excited for, and I started it earlier today, so I'm already dove into this one a little bit. I'm only like on chapter 2 now, but this is one that I've been wanting to read for the longest time. I've owned the hardcover. Like, literally, I found out it existed, and then days later I bought it, and it's just been sitting in my, my to-read pile ever since. But this is Koji Suzuki's Ring. So this is the inspiration for the Ringu series, which then, of course, was turned into The Ring and The Ring 2 here in the United States. And The Ring is it was one of my absolute favorites in high school. It was like I skipped school one time in my life, and it was to go watch this movie again with another friend. I saw The Ring probably 3 or 4 times in theaters, which never happened. It was The Ring and Signs. I saw both of those movies just a handful of times in theaters because I love them so much. So ever since I realized that was based off of a book, that series, I had to check it out. So this is that book, and I am so excited to have started this one. So you can see my bookmark is already in there, and I am ready to go. So that is the first physical adult book on my list for this month, is Ring by Koji Suzuki. No, I messed up. No, it's Koji Suzuki. Excuse me. Oh, what a mess. I'm really not sure if I want to include this next one or not, because I've had it on my list earlier this year and I never got around to it. And I'm afraid that's what's going to happen this year, just because I have, 2 middle grade and an adult novel to read in the physical form. So I'm afraid that if any of these go to the wayside, it's going to be this one. But I'm just going to add it to the list just because. So I need to read Watchmen, guys. By the end of the year, I have to finish this guy in order to meet one of my entertainment goals or one of my media goals. So I'm putting it on the list for November. If I start it, excellent. If nothing else, I want to get this started so that I can finish it by the end of the year. So we'll see what happens here, but I need to read this one because it is just an all-time classic, and I've seen the movie. I watched it when it came out in theaters on opening night. Now, at this point, it's been ever since Watchmen came out on, in theaters since I've seen that, so I can't really tell you much about it, except, there's that one, I don't know if it's infamous or not, but that one scene that I remember, but that's about it. So other than that, I can't really tell you anything about this. So I'm very excited to get to this, and it's just a matter of carving out the time to do it, because this is a thick graphic novel, and there are like pages in here that are simply like novel pages. So it's going to take me a little longer to get through this one. So if I can rush through Ring, I think I'll be able to make it through Watchmen, but we'll see where the month takes us. So I'm going to put it on the list and just hope I get there. So the last book on my TBR is Watchmen by Alan Moore, and I cannot wait to dive into this one. Those are all of the books I plan to read in November, so you know what that means. It's time for the letter and prompt game in order for me to determine what my TBW is going to be for November. So, I love this part of it. So let's see how I did last month. If you guys recall, I ended up with 9 items on my list last month, thanks to just a crazy card I pulled where it was like, you have to pick a 4K, a digital, a Blu-ray, and a DVD, basically run the gamut, I think is what that one was called. And so that added 4 films on top of everything else that was going on. So it was a very packed month. I'm happy to say I got through 6 of those 9. So anything that was horror related, I got through. And there was one other one which I forgot to grab, but I needed to finish Touch of Evil and Vampire in order to not have to haul those off or unhaul those. And I did get through both of those, so I don't have to get rid of anything this month, which is always a positive thing. Now, the 3 I still have to get through are right here. So I specifically waited to get to these just because I was watching a ton of movies in October, all horror. And so these were not horror related, so they got held off until November. So the first one I need to watch is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on 4K, and I definitely will be doing that. And then we have Les Miserables, which I'm a little less excited about, to be honest with you, but I will get to it sometime in November. It's a long one, though, so that's why I'm just so reticent about it. And then finally, The Naked Kiss. This is a Sam Fuller film from my Criterion collection. This one was released in 1964. This is a nice, short 90-minute film, so I should have no problem getting to these. These are the 3 that I need to get to in November so that I do not have to get rid of them in December. So I don't think I'm going to have an issue. I was just specifically waiting to get to these because they were not horror. So everything else from my TBW last month, I completed, and I will talk about all of those in my October wrap-up. So definitely check back to the channel in a week or so, maybe week and a half, so you can check out my thoughts on all of those. So with that said, let's see what November has in store for me. For some of you, this may be the very first time you're watching my channel or just the first time you're watching my TBW game. So let me explain in kind of the most basic, quick way I can what my Letter and Prompt TBW game is. Essentially, I draw a letter from here. There's one of A through Z in this, plus 2 blanks. And then I draw a card from this deck of cards, which has 52 unique prompts on them. They can run the gamut from something from your Criterion collection, something from your streaming collection, whatever. They run the gamut across different genres, media types, everything like that. So they could be one of anything. So I pick a tile, I pick a prompt, and then I have to match that prompt with that tile. So that would the tile represents the title of a movie. If I were to pick the letter S for a movie in my Criterion collection, I could pick something like Safety Last because I've never seen it. So that's the goal, is to find something from my physical collection that I've never seen before. If I can't find anything that I've never seen from my physical collection, then I would move to my second choice, which would be something in my digital collection that I haven't seen, and then it progresses a little bit from there, but we'll cover that as we go if we need to. So once I pick a letter, it goes back in the bag, but once a prompt is picked, it does not go back into the deck of cards until the next month. That means that I could potentially pick a prompt that I picked in the previous 2 months, but once it's picked, it stays out for the rest of the current month. If I draw the same letter a second time, instead of that representing the movie title, it would then represent the director's first or last name. If I draw, and then it goes back in the bag, that letter. If I draw that same letter a third time, then I just have to redraw, and I have to add a movie to my list. I have to add a draw to my list. I start by picking 5 movies, and then whatever happens, happens. There are some prompts that add movies to it. There are some instances where I have to add movies, which again, we'll kind of cover those as we go along here, but that's the general gist of it. And then I have through the following month to watch those. Whatever I don't watch, I do have an extra month to watch them, and if I don't watch it by the end of that second month, then they have to leave my collection in an unhaul of some sort. I can sell it, give it away, whatever, it has to leave my collection. So up to this point, I've not had to give away anything, which is awesome. I have 3 films to watch this month from my last month's TBW. So as long as I watch those, I still will not have to give anything away, which is always the goal. So that's the quickest, kind of dirtiest way I can get through that one. That's the quick and dirty way of getting through it, is what I meant there. So let's see now what letter I'm going to draw and then what prompt I will draw. So let's start right here with the letter. And we have, whatever this is, it is a U. Okay, so I will have to find a film that begins with the letter U. Now I have to open up my deck of cards here and give them a good shuffle and then pick a prompt. So let me do that now. I do have the 2 jokers in here that I still need to figure out something to do with. So if you guys have any ideas down in the comments below, please let me know what I should do with these 2 jokers, because I've not done anything with them yet. All right, these are nice and shuffled. Let me just give it a cut here. And my first one, let's see what we got. All right. Watch a black and white film. All right, so watch a black and white film that begins with the letter U. So let me see if I can combine these two to find a movie that matches this letter and prompt. So I'm looking for a black and white film from my physical collection that I have not seen yet that starts with the letter U. I'll be right back. Ooh, I watched too many horror movies last month to have said I'll be right back, but let's see where this goes. Okay, so this is perfect. The horror theme gets to continue, which is always a good thing in my book. So we have from 1944, The Uninvited. So this, of course, is my Criterion Collection edition of this. This is spine number 677, which I will mention, this is a good segue. The Criterion Collection sale at Barnes & Noble, I hear, starts on November 6th and runs through November 30th of 2020. So definitely mark your calendars for that if you are interested in the Criterion Collection. I am sure I will have some type of haul during the month here to show you guys what I grabbed, but I will be honest with you, it will be nothing compared to what I did in July because I went nuts in July. It was my birthday and I just went crazy. But anyway, regardless, this is a black and white film in my collection that I have not seen, and it starts with the letter U because, of course, you bypass the words the and a. So we have The Uninvited. So very excited to see this one. This is a haunted house story of some sort. I've heard excellent things about it, and I just have wanted to see it for a very long time now. So this one was directed by Lewis Allen and should be a blast. So from 1944, watch a black and white film that starts with the letter U. We have The Uninvited from my Criterion Collection. That means that the watch a black and white film prompt goes off to the side. I will not be drawing that one again this month, but I could draw it next month, who knows? And then the letter U goes right back in the bag. We're going to shuffle these guys up and see what letter I draw next. This one looks good. All right. Right to the start of the alphabet there, we have the letter A. So let's see what this has to which prompt this has to be matched up with. All right, this looks good. Let's give it one more cut here and see what we got. All right, awesome. Genre pick superhero. This is very exciting. Let me see what unseen film I have from my physical collection that starts with an A that falls into the superhero genre. Let's check it out. Initially, I was thrilled to pick this, A and superhero, because you think Avengers, right? But I forgot that I have not caught up on purchasing all of the Avengers movies. So technically, I'm going to be cheating a little bit here because there is one superhero movie that I've not seen in my A collection, and that's Amazing Spider-Man 2. But that said, I am going to bypass my physical collection this time, which I can do. Like, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to instead move over to a streaming pick, I guess it would technically be. I'm going to have Avengers Infinity War on this list because I have yet to see it. But what that means is that I'm actually adding 2 more films to my physical TBW, and that is Spider-Man Homecoming and Black Panther. I own both of those on 4K in my physical collection. They're upstairs. I don't want to go grab them right now. But I do not own Avengers Infinity War just because it's on Disney Plus, so I never bought it. But that said, the film that's going on this list is Avengers Infinity War, but I will have to watch Spider-Man Homecoming and Black Panther in order to get to it. So even though technically there is one film in my physical collection that is a superhero film that I've not seen from the letter A, because I'm adding 2 more films on top of it, I'm allowing myself to put on there Avengers Infinity War. So that really brings my TBW up 3. So now instead of having 2, I have 4 on my list already. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to let myself do it just because I am adding so many more films to it. So I'm finally going to knock through some of the MCU that I needed to watch this year, which was another thing I was hoping to really dive into this month. So this actually does work out quite well. So my superhero pick from the letter A is Avengers Infinity War. And on top of that, I am adding Spider-Man Homecoming and Black Panther to my November TBW. So the prompt goes to the side again, and A drops back in the bag. So that means with 7 movies already on my list if I include the 3 from last month, though that's a lot. So now we have the letter P, which was pretty popular. I think that one came up twice last month. So let's see what prompt P will go with. All right, that looks good. Let's cut it up again here. And we have... Oh, okay, so this is a different one we've not had yet. So this is a cover color pick, green. So that means I have to find a movie in my physical collection that has a green cover that starts with the letter P, or just has green on the cover. So let me see what I can find that is green with the letter P. I may just be in a Criterion mood, given the fact that we have the sale this month, but this is a film that I've needed to see for the longest time and haven't. Another horror film. We have Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. Oh my gosh, that was the ugliest way to say labyrinth ever. Excuse my Midwestern that just showed there, but this is Pan's Labyrinth. So this is from 2006, and this is spine number 838. Another one from the Criterion Collection with that gorgeous cover, just chock full of green. So this is the perfect pick for matching P with green. I cannot wait to watch this one. I have seen like one of his other traditional horror films, and it was The Orphanage, and that movie was fantastic. So I have high expectations for this. So very excited to add this one to the TBW for next month. So the next one on my TBW is Pan's Labyrinth from 2006. P is back in the bag, and we have 2 more picks now. So let's shake her on up here and see what we got. All right, the letter M. I don't think I've had the letter M yet, so let's see what M is going to pair up with. Something else I was thinking about as I shuffle the cards here, if you guys want me to show the other options, because I had a couple options for P, like Platoon was one that was behind me here that I could have picked as well. If you guys want me to show you some other options that I have, let me know down in the comments below, instead of just me showing you the one I pick. If you want to know what I'm debating between, if there are any, because a lot of times these are so specific that there's only one, but if there are more than one option, do you guys want me to show it? Let me know down in the comments below. Okay, I think that's good. Let's pick her on up here after I cut it. What do we have? Runtime, what is that? Less than 90 minutes. Okay, so I just have to match a film that starts with the letter M that is shorter than 90 minutes, which I thought I had an option, but I don't know if I actually own that one or not. So anyway, we'll see. So 90 minutes or less, let's see what I can find. Obviously, this one is going to have a lot more options than some of the other ones because it's so kind of open. 90 minutes or less film that starts with the letter M. There was a couple I was debating between, but ultimately I went with, oh geez, that is not safe for work. Let me flip that around there. All right, that's a little bit better. So I ended up going with Maniac. So this is the Maniac remake, actually, starring Elijah Wood. This is one that technically I did put on. I started it, but I think I fell asleep halfway through it or so, and so I don't even think I counted it as a watched film for that year. I might be wrong. I may have thought I've seen enough, but I don't remember exactly. So I don't remember much about this. I don't think I loved it when I was watching it, though, which is one of the reasons I fell asleep and never came back to it. But I've heard so many good things about it. I want to give it another shot. I have seen the original, and I don't love the original, to be honest with you. I think it's okay, but it's not the best. This one, we'll see if I like it any better this time around. Like I said, I don't think I was loving what I've seen of it, but I don't want to count it as a watched movie because I didn't give it its full shot. So this is the remake for Maniac, and this one came out, when did this come out? Like 2012, it looks like. So yeah, I'm excited to give this one another shot. I love Elijah Wood, so we'll see how this is. And just for reference, this one is 89 minutes long, if you can see that there. So it does fit into this category of being less than 90 minutes. So very excited to give this one another shot. We'll see how it goes. So Maniac is my 4th pick for my TBW. So I've been pretty lucky so far. I did have to add a couple in order to get Avengers on there, but that's okay. Those are ones I need to see for my entertainment goals and ones I just frankly want to see, so that's okay. So now we have the letter E. So let's see what my final prompt for the day is going to be. All right, good enough. Let's see what we got. Last pick for the month. All right, so this is one that I think I have had in the past. That is super blown out. I don't even know if you can read it, but it's watch a foreign film. So I need to find a foreign film that begins with the letter E. This will actually be the 2nd foreign film on my list this month because, of course, Pan's Labyrinth is a Spanish film. So let's see what else I can find from a non-English speaking film that begins with the letter E. Okay, so this is very fitting because it's November. It's a typical Criterion Collection Barnes & Noble sale. And of course, where are most of my foreign movies going to come from in my collection? The Criterion Collection, part of that collection. So we have the French film Eyes Without a Face. And now I know this one is released on Blu-ray at this point, but I do not own the Blu-ray. I still have the DVD of this. So You can see the title there, Eyes Without a Face. This one was released in 1959, and it is, like I said, in French with English subtitles. So this is a foreign film that begins with the letter E that will fit this prompt perfectly. So my foreign film that starts with E is Eyes Without a Face. That is the last film that my TBW is picking for me for the month. So let's recap just my TBW real quick. So we have the 3 from my October TBW, The Naked Kiss, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Les Miserables. So those are those 3 that I have to watch, so I don't have to unhaul them. And then we have these ones plus the trifecta of the MCU, which will be Spider-Man Homecoming, Black Panther, and then Avengers Infinity War. And then we have The Uninvited, we have Pan's Labyrinth, we have Maniac, which is not like the others, and then we have Eyes Without a Face. So this is a crazy month, much more than I expected, and we got a ton of horror in here, which I'm always a fan of. So yes, there are 10 movies on my TBW, which if I watch as many movies as I did in October, that's nothing. So we'll see how November goes. I'm very up and down when it comes to numbers for watching movies. So hopefully November will be a good month for me so I can fit all of these bad boys in. Oh my goodness, this just screams of one of those months where I'm apologizing next month because I didn't get to everything. Like, this is a much too overzealous TBR and TBW for me because it's just probably not going to happen if we're being realistic. But you can betcha that I am going to do my best to get through as many of these as I possibly can in the month of November. Fortunately, I have a couple days off, a few days off actually in this month. So hopefully that'll help me get through some of these items here. So it should be a really fun month, regardless of the number of items I end up consuming. I'm sure they're going to be a lot of fun because there's a lot of classics in here that I'm just super excited to finally get to. So let me know down in the comments below, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you playing in the month of November, or at least planning to read, play, or watch in November? And have you seen any of these? Should I even waste my time on some, or should I just let them roll off the pile and end up on my unhaul video that I'm sure is going to probably come out of this? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear more from you guys down there and have more of a conversation with you. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube. And if not, thank you anyway for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And I don't just talk movies and books. I talk all things media, collectibles, graphic novels, you name it. If it's media related, I'm interested in it. And if you are too, you might think about subscribing. All right, guys, like I mentioned, if you have any idea for the jokers in that deck, please let me know. I'd love to hear some suggestions from you guys down there. And do you want to hear the other options that I had when I picked my TBW game? Do you want to hear about the other options that I could have chosen, or just stick with showing you what I decided to go with? Again, let me know down below. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.